The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Norton. I'm going to take you through a little walkthrough of facilitating on the Knowledge Hub. I've actually got everyone on mute at the moment, so normally it's because of background noise. So if you've got any questions that you would like to ask throughout the session, you've got a questions box and also a chat function, so please pop it in there, and I'll try and answer as I go along. So for today's session, I'm going to take you through three main elements. So let's move on to my other screen. Here we go. So I'm going to take you through the main admin tab, and that's the main part as a facilitator you'll be looking at. Also, all different functions that you have available to you as a group owner and a facilitator, also some of the differences you have as a facilitator within it. And also I'm going to quickly mention the help and support section that is available to you as well. So we've got pretty much a massive big FAQs for all the elements of how to facilitate a group available in there. So if everyone's happy with that, I'll crack on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take you through the admin tab, which is the main element you'll be interested in. Some of you will probably have been playing around with this already. First part is your group settings. As a facilitator, at any point you can always change your name of the group if you need to adjust it in any way. You can even edit your group logo, so very simple to do. So just go and choose a file. I've already got one set up. Open, this will then appear. Again, you can do different elements to it depending on the size, and click Save. So this is now my group logo that's up and running with my group. Your group description is also quite important for some of the groups. There's a couple of different reasons behind it. This is your main purpose of your group. It sort of gives you a chance to explain what's in it for the members participating in the group. But also, it can be used, if you wish to help with search. If you can get the name or any key elements in the first couple of sentences, it actually helps with people searching across, say, Google, looking for your group, depending on how your group is set up. This one's currently restricted, but again, it will appear in an index on Google for a group, so it might be of interest to people out there as well. Again, the other part you got on here, lead organisation. This is something we've only recently added in. Each group can have a lead organisation. Just means that you've got a bit of ownership over it, rather than everyone coming to the Knowledge Hub team all the time asking who's owning this group and who looks after it. And as well, you've also got the option to add tags to your group, and this again helps with people searching for your group. And as you're going through, it makes it easier for people to find what they're looking for, and also maybe people just sort of coming across your group as well. Permissions are also quite important on the Knowledge Hub. We have 3 different options for different types of groups. The current one I'm using is restricted. That means only people that have been accepted into the group can join. We also have an open one where anyone who's a member of the Knowledge Hub can join, and also we have the option for private, which means that that group does not exist on any search anywhere and can it's only invite only to the members. So it doesn't appear actually on the Knowledge Hub, it's sort of hidden away behind the scenes. And one other part that could be really interesting for a lot of you, just to get a bit of a feel for how people are accessing your group as well, is Google Analytics. What you can do, and there's a little guide I'll ping out to you later on how to do it. I need to probably update it at the same time. And this is how you add Google Analytics to your group on Knowledge Hub, and that just lets you get a feel for where people are coming from, what sort of pages they're looking at on there, what's your most popular sort of items within your group as well. So it's all quite useful stuff. Next bit is your group announcements. This is in a way to signpost members to key content or activities that are happening within your group. So moment, so this is a little element, but if I go back to the activity page, this will always, well, this is just come out of date actually, so I need to go and change it. Let's go back. So if I wanted to add an announcement, I can type in new announcement. Very bad spelling. And again, what I can put in here, I can add in, say, don't forget to So what I can do is add like links into this. So don't forget to look at the latest document that's just been produced. Again, you can highlight an element of it, and then you can go to the hyperlink option, and then you can hyperlink it to a particular document within your group or to something else that's happening. It could be a discussion forum. It's just a really good, nice way that when someone goes into your group, you can sort of signpost them some of the key activity, because sometimes a lot of activity goes on and it knocks it right down on your activity stream. But this is a way you can sort of highlight some of the key elements that you want people to get involved in. And again, for this part, you can add hyperlinks in, you can add images in, you can even add video into it if you really want to. And also you can set a timestamp for it, for when it to appear and when it's going to end. You can have a couple of these running at the same time if you need to. And Trevor's raised his hand. Do you want to add a question up into the question section, Trevor? And I'll try and answer it. Okay, so this is all quite a useful little function that you can get in there. And so once I've put my announcement up, it will appear to the top of the activity stream for everybody. And again, they can mark it as red, and that will just minimize it. And then you can go back and it will appear again for you. So it's just a nice little way that you can sort of link people to the key elements of your group and things that are happening within it. The next sort of key element as well is probably the only way you can really sort of push messages towards your audience is the group messaging. So it allows you to put 1,000 characters. In a way, it becomes your mini newsletter. So again, you can highlight any key documentation, key discussions that are going on, events that are going on, and this will automatically go to people's inbox as well as appearing in their My Message section within the group. So a really useful little area. I mean, we try and encourage people to try and do it either on a weekly or a monthly basis, depending on how active your group is and how many members you have. And it really, whenever you sort of look at, say, if you're using Google Analytics, but whenever you send out a group message, it does just give you a big sort of spike of people coming back to the group at that moment after you've sent out the group message, because people forget about going back to your group. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to make knowledge predictive. There's only a few websites that have ever got to that point. But just reminding people that things are happening on there, maybe mentioning certain people that have been participating, actually does really encourage others to come back and start to participate as well. Next one is your membership requests. So this will only happen for restricted groups. For open ones, people will normally go straight into the group, and for private ones, you would have invited people to join anyway. So what will happen is in this section, I haven't got any set up at the moment, but it will give you the name of the person, also a comment they've made to why they want to join the group, if they have written one, and it gives you a chance to then reply back. What a lot of people don't really do is when someone does apply to join, they just say accept or decline. If you can, the best thing to do is actually to write a little message back to them. So if you're accepting them in, welcome into the group, say who you are, ask them how to get, or give them some ideas of how they can get in touch if you've got any questions to ask, but also try and give them some sort of action to do, either to participate in a discussion, or if they've mentioned that they're interested in a particular topic, maybe link them to a document or another discussion or somebody else who might be able to help them. That really gets someone really actively, it's their first point in coming into your group. If you can try and get them to participate at the earliest point, they're more likely to stay and come back on a regular basis. An awful lot of groups just press accept or decline. They don't really give an explanation for why someone wants to join or why they've been rejected or accepted into the group. And especially when you're declining people, try and give them a reason why you're declining them as well. So you may want to explain that they don't quite fit the criteria for the group, or they maybe haven't put in any details about themselves, so you've got no real understanding of who they are, and then give them some sort of reason to maybe reapply again. And that happens quite often for some groups where they're just asking for a bit more information. People then say, I'm doing this type of work, so I hadn't put it in my profile, can I still join? And they come back in again. And that works really well. It also helps build a trust within the group. Okay, so I've got some questions now. Guys has asked around, is there an automatic message? No, there's not, but if you do join the online facilitators community, we do actually have a wiki with some examples of some of the some of the ways you can do welcome and accept and decline messages. So you can just change those and adapt and as you see fit. Ian's just asked about, do group members appear in the activity log or is it an email to members? Group messages. The group message goes to people's individual inboxes, but it also appears in their home page under My Messages as well. So it doesn't appear actually in the activity log on the group. Now, okay, and Bruce has also asked a nice question, would it be worthwhile saying you might like to connect with members X, Y, and Z? That's a very good thing you can do as well. Some groups have started the idea of like a buddying system as well. So if someone's coming in from a particular organisation, you might want to mention that someone else that part of the group is also a member of that organisation, and that means you can technically buddy them up. Say someone might have been a member for quite a while, and then you can then buddy them up with someone else that's sort of new to the group, and it really works well because I mean, for me, being I'm working in London, a lot of people I try and say actually someone else in your organisation has been really good at doing this. You might want to go and chat with them, and they can sort of give you some hints and tips on how to make it work for you. And Dave has just asked, are group messages blocked by lots of organisation filters? No, they shouldn't really be. You might get the occasional one here and there. Or I've had it with a few people where they're the only person in the organisation for some reason it's been blocked, and we've had to go and speak to their IT department. But because it's a .gov email domain, most organisations it's perfectly fine. But you do get the occasional one here and there, but it's not very common. Okay, so I'll move on to the next part. So that's your membership requests and some good questions. Thanks for those. Next one is invite members, especially for restricted groups and also for these open, restricted and private groups. You can add email addresses in here, common separated list, and that will then go out to people as well. You do get the occasional issue where some organisations have multiple email addresses. So some of the guys up in Scotland, that sometimes you have like a gsx.gov.uk email address and a .gov.uk email address, and some people will get the invite, but they won't find it on their invitation list because it's gone to the wrong one. And so we have to sometimes deal with that. So just be careful, just try and find out if you can what email address they've used, because they could have two. So you can put in any sort of list of emails in here, and that will send an email out to people. You can also search for registered users, so you can just type in people's names and it will appear in there. Just don't put John Smith in there because you get a huge amount of results on there. Also, when you're inviting people, we have a standard template which is available to you, but you can add to this. And one of the things I do try and encourage people to do is, if you are going to invite someone into a group, explain why you're inviting them. I mean, most people you probably already know, you've probably always spoken to, but if it's someone it's someone you want to invite in, explain what sort of like benefits they'll get out of being part of the group, and how they can maybe influence it, because it's a good chance to try and get someone to really sort of participate in your group from day one. If you just send them a link to your group and say come and join, they may sort of have a quick look, not really sort of get an understanding. But if you can put some details in here about what they can get involved in, what sort of things have been happening, what sort of things you like them to get involved in, same way you would in a normal conversation when you want to invite someone to maybe a face-to-face meeting, explain what it's all about. This is a really good chance to do that as well. And once you've done that, it will send it off to the people as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't track who you sent it to. We don't have any way of doing that at the moment, but we're hoping in the future we might be able to do something along those lines. Okay, next one is remove members. So this is quite a new feature again. That's sort of come on there. Occasionally, you have people who have either they've left the organisation and not doing that type of work anymore, or maybe not been back to your group for a considerable time, and you can remove them. All you need to do is you've got your membership list. It's via the members tab. So I'm just typing something like Dimple, and it comes up with Dimple's name. Click select. Me selecting remove will remove Dimple from the group. And so occasionally you might want to do a bit of a cull on your membership, because it's all about trying to keep that trust and keep the momentum going. And you have a few people that maybe just join because it's like a badge of honour, Sometimes that happens to some groups, or maybe they've moved on and are doing other things now and not really that interested in them. So it's better to have a more active, smaller group than having huge amounts of members in a group and not many people participating. Well, that's my feel for it anyway, so it's entirely up to you how you do it. Can you view the, Ian's just asked, can you view the profile of an invitee who appears to be already registered on KHub to make sure they are the right person? In that search bit, it's not the best way to do it. So what I'd probably do is do a global search up in the top right-hand corner, and you can type in people's names, or you can go to the people library, and you can then find out there as much details that they've made available to you. So that's probably the best thing to do. Do that first, and then once you see it, you can actually then know it's the right person or not. Quite a few people will have their email addresses actually added on here, because you can do search by email as well. But then it hopefully will give you the right person as well. And Trevor said, can you simply remove anyone? There's only a few people you can't remove from the group. And that's, you cannot remove a facilitator from a group until they've been deactivated as a facilitator. And you can't remove the owner until they've been taken off as owner. They're the only people that you can't remove from the group. That's a good question, Bruce. Has asked, has there been cases where people have been removed from groups for doing bad things? If so, is there a process, or am I worrying too much? I've been doing this type of work for 10 years now. I've only had to warn one person. So no, we are worrying a bit too much. Most people that maybe written something slightly inappropriate or done something that's not quite right, they probably didn't realise that it was inappropriate, and just by having a quick call or conversation with them, it gets solved. And that's probably the best thing to do. Any conflict resolution element will be just have a quick chat with them, just say, oh, did you realise this is sort of thing, what's happening? And but I was fine, didn't mean to do that. So yeah, I mean, most people that are going to get removed are because they're either dead accounts or they've moved on to something. It's very rare that you move someone for doing some bad things. I mean, occasionally you get sort of like maybe an occasional spam blog or a spam direct message every now and then, but we delete those accounts anyway. But within groups, because everyone can see who everyone is, it's a professional network. It's not very common that's ever going to happen. If you're doing this out on the web, yeah, then you need to have a lot more detail about it, because most people are anonymous. So don't worry too much, Bruce. But if there's anything comes up like that, let us know, and we can work with you to deal with it, just in case it does come up. So that's the remove bit. That's nice and simple to use. Also, some groups like the idea of using auto-accept. So what you can do is select certain email domains. So if you work in a particular local authority, I mean, I used to work at Epping Forest, and so I could put in eppingforestdc.gov.uk into this box here. And what it will do is then means that anyone who applies to join this group, because it's once restricted, they automatically become a member of the group without any approval process. So if you're running, say, like a specific type of group, maybe it's for a time-limited time and you want to get as many people in there to view content and discuss, maybe that's really useful. For more of a community of practice approach, I probably wouldn't do that personally, because I want to try and get that first point of contact with somebody to say, like, there's some things you might be interested in doing, to try and encourage them to participate. And just by letting them go straight into the group, you don't really get that first point of contact with them, and you're there to support them, because it's all about helping people get to what they need to do, and then trying to encourage them to help each other out as well. But it's a really useful little function there if it's right for your type of group that you're running. Next one is your facilitators. Any member of a group can be added as a facilitator. So you just go into here and you just type in the person's name, and if you're already a member of a group, it will appear, and you can click add. As a facilitator, you can only remove yourself as a facilitator. So I'm down as Mike co-test at the moment, so I only have the X against that. I can't remove Dimple, and I can't remove Michael Norton. But the group owner, which is my other account, I can actually remove all the facilitators. It's the only real additional function that a group owner actually has over anyone else. So that's really nice and simple to use. So you just type in someone's name, and it will appear. So how many people I've got in here? I've got 5. So I think I'll just put the Dimple in again. and then see there's people coming up, and I just click add, and I've then added them to the group, and I click save to save it. There we go. And that's it. So their dimple's now been added to the group. The other bits you've got is your group features. So this is getting into a bit more depth about the actual functionality of the site. So at the moment, all the features are switched on for this particular group. I'd recommend that you think really carefully about what features you turn on, especially when you're quite new to running your group. So having lots of different features on there can confuse people. So maybe you want to turn some of them off to start off with, and as you start to become more mature and you start to get more people involved in the group, maybe turn certain ones back on again. So most of the ones I'd recommend when you start a group, start with a forum, start with a library. You may not wish to turn on blogs, events, wikis, ideas to start off with, but over time you might want to slowly build it up. But again, this is a function that you have as a facilitator. You can choose to either turn them on or turn them off at any point. So it's entirely up to you, just by using the tick box to turn it off, turn it on, then saving. So it's quite a useful little function there. The other part you've got on here is also you can make some of the functions public. Let's wait for this to come through. Pages. Okay, some of them are actually blocked out. So forums, wikis, and ideas can only be turned on if you come and have a chat with us about this. And the reason behind this is that the forums and wikis and the ideas do not have don't have any restrictions on the content that's added to the area. So if we had a forum that we were all discussing in, and I decide I want to make it, as a facilitator, I want to make it public, and all the content within that becomes public. Whereas adding a library document, anyone uploading a library document can decide whether they only want the library document to only be available in that group, or if they want it to be made public as well. Okay, Ian's just asked that. Just checking, turning the feature on and off doesn't lose any content that might be in that feature. Now, all it does is hides it. Just hides it from view. So if you have written a massive big wiki at some point and you decide to just turn it off, it doesn't lose it. It just hides it from view. That's all it does. So on the public one, so what you can do is that if you want to make, say, the library public, what it means is that if someone looks at your public landing page for a restricted group, you'll have an additional tab on there called library. And anyone who's written a document that is made public in the public library up in this main area here will appear in there, but the restricted content just for that group doesn't. So it goes all around permissions, but it's quite a useful little function if you want to sort of push and promote any particular content out to a wider audience. Next feature is the import blogs. What this allows you to do is, because a blog is individual, it's not actually attached to a group. So anyone can write a blog on a Knowledge Hub, and again, you have two permissions over that at the moment. One is that you can make it available to the whole all the members of the Knowledge Hub, or you can make it completely public, so it's actually searchable on the web, and people will find it that way. And what that means is that instead of in the past when we've had this, people could pretty much put their blogs in all different groups, and it pretty much become like a spamming feature in some ways. We've now made it so that the facilitators can choose what type of content they want to bring into their group they think that's relevant. So you've got the choice to either you can do it by authors, so the people writing the blogs, or you can do it by tags. So that's the keywords that people use within their blogs. You can do a mixture. You can have the name of the author and the matching tags have to fit, or you can do it as the author only or as tags only. And what that will do is then it will then give you a list of all the blogs that then appear in your group, and anyone who writes a new blog, if the criteria matches what you've set up, that automatically appears in the activity stream for the group as well, and in the blog tab as well. And if you want to remove any of them at the moment, so I mean, I wrote a very silly one the other day called Ferrari or Golf Cart, how would you describe your online group? And you think that's not relevant, you can just tick the box and then click save, and that will then remove that particular blog from your group. So it gives you a lot of control over what type of content comes into your group. You may not even wish to have blogs at all in there, so I'll just turn off the blog feature and don't fill any of these elements in there. And your last one it's quite a new feature, is polling. And polls will appear on your front page of your group to the members. There's no sort of notification that goes out to them at the moment, so probably what you want to do is once you've written a new poll, send out a group message to people to let people know that it's available. And what you need to do is just click the Add Question button here. Then you type in your title, the poll question, your expiration date, and then you can add that range of choices here. So it's nice and simple to use, and sort of going back to the sort of old Blue Peter method is one that was already written earlier. Let's go back. So this is one that's already been written. This is what's your favourite ice cream. The poll will only appear once you click the Publish button. So that will only appear there. So you have to click Publish. So that will now be available. But also, because we've got one vote on this from earlier, you can view the votes as well. So this is something that's in the back end part of it. So in the admin tab, you can see the votes. You can get some charts on it, and also you can see who's voted on it and when they voted on it. And that poll will then appear on the right-hand side of your activity stream. Because I've already participated in this poll, I only get the result view at the end. But for anyone else, you have the tick box option to view it. It's a nice little function you can use. Different people use it in different ways. You can only have one at a time at the moment, and it's a very simple poll, but it can be useful to start discussions. No, not at the moment, Dave. Dave's just asked, can you just select more than one item in a poll in a checkbox format? No, it's a single result, single answer at the moment. It's something that we would like to improve on in the future, but it can be really useful just to help discussions as well. I mean, we did an online chat the other week about how you could use polls to create discussions, because if you have a very good poll question, it can actually lead on to a whole range of different discussions that can really sort of keep your group ticking over, and also give you a range of different types of content that you can sort of build on as well for the future. But yeah, the whole idea of like better polls, better surveys is also something that we've got in our wish list for the future. So that's your main admin tab. So that's sort of all the key elements within the admin. So there's quite a lot of functionality that you can play around with, and you can adapt, and you can choose how you want to run. There's any other questions at the moment, or shall I crack on to the next section? Great. Okay. Okay, we're going to start with the main functions within the group. So as we mentioned earlier on, this is your activity page. This is the main element of all the activity. So this is all the activity that's going on in the group, which you can list down here. Let's keep scrolling down, and you can view all the posts here. You've also got group members within there. You've also got a what's happening section within this part. So this is it's like a mini sort of not Twitter feed, but like a little messaging system that people can use. It doesn't appear in the activity stream, and people do not get notified about it, which is unfortunate. That was something we've been asking about, trying to integrate into the activity stream. But again, as a facilitator, you do actually have the ability to delete people's content on here. So because sometimes the little messaging element becomes out of date, and you might want to tidy it up a little bit, so you can delete content as a facilitator as well. So that's quite a handy little feature that you've got on there. So going on to your main functions, I'll show you some of the different things you can do as a facilitator. So your main one is going to be your forum. Forum is where the discussion happens. It's probably going to be the most active part of any online group. And so what you've got along here is you've got your forum home, you've got your recent posts. So if you don't want to view stuff in the category version, you can click recent, and it will just list all the posts. And again, as a facilitator, you're always going to get the action button on these. It means that you can edit any of the threads. You can lock a thread, which means that no one else can participate in it. And again, you can remove it. You can move it to different elements. So you may want to move it to a different folder or category, and also you can delete it. So you, as a facilitator, you've got all those powers within that element. You've also got the My Post section as well. So they list all the ones that you've done in the past. So that's quite a useful thing to sort of remember what things you've written in the past. And also you've got the statistics button, which again, these ones, recent My Post and statistics, are all viewable by all your members, but they're useful as a facilitator. So because what it does, it tells you how many posts someone's made to the group. It tells you the join date. It also tells you the last post date as well. So you start to see who the most active people within the forum area are. That's quite useful if you want to sort of get people, certain people involved in certain discussions as well. And you've got this button, this little section here called banned users, and that's what I think Bruce, you mentioned about people being sort of not being very nice. But I've not seen anyone use this one, and I'll have to show you where it is on the main part. But this will list any people who have been banned from your group. And what it does is it bans someone for 5 days. So they can't actually participate in the forum for 5 days if you choose to do that. So as a facilitator, you're the only one who can add categories to the forum. So these are the containers for the discussion. And so all you need to do is, if you want to create a category, click Add Category. You can type in the name of it, type in the description, and click Save. Really simple to use. And what those are normally used for, some groups have an awful lot of categories. And again, the recommendation would be only create categories that are actually needed to start off with. I do try and encourage things like have a category called like Ask the Community or Ask the Group, rather than having sort of 20 or 30 categories with nothing inside it, because when someone new to the group comes along, sees all these different categories with no responses back in it, they're probably going to go, there's not much activity going on here. If you can have 1 or 2 categories with lots of activity going on, that's really good. And as it starts to expand out and maybe more themes come out, you can then break those up and move the threads around as well. Just go back to the forum bit. So, and if someone does decide to create a new post as a normal member and does not add it to it within a category, as a facilitator, you can click Action. And I'll move this to Category 1. I can click Select Move Thread. And I'm going to select where it's going to go. So I'm going to click Select. Click the category I want to move it to. And press Move Thread. So that's now moved that into the category now. So as a facilitator, you can move things around. You can only do it one at a time at the moment within the forum, which is a pity. But it's just something that you can use to sort of help structure the discussion as you go along. The other things you can do on here, as a facilitator, again, you've got a lock thread option, you've got the move thread option as well. I forgot any. I need to find one with a few more elements in it. So let's go and have a look. Here we go. 7. There's another feature you get as a facilitator, is that you can split threads. I think I've actually might have done this already, this one. But if a discussion starts to go off in different directions, you do have the ability to split them and create a new thread within it. So if I click Split Thread here, because it allowed me to do this. And let's wait for this to load up. Okay, so what it allows me to do is I can actually break that thread up and create a new title within it. So there may be sort of 2 different points of view or 2 discussions going on in one thread. And all it does is allows me to sort of take it from a particular point and move anything underneath after that to a new discussion area and a new title or subject. And if you want to, you can even add an explanation for why it's been changed. So you've got those sort of facilities within it. Okay, let's go back into here. Again, whenever you see the action button, it means that you can edit, move, and adapt any of the bits and pieces. The other thing you can do as a facilitator as well is that you can, in a way, you can prioritize some of the content within it. So let's find another one. So this is one that was created the other day. So I can click Actions, click Edit, it takes me back to the original post. And as a facilitator, you can choose the priority of that discussion. So you can make it urgent, you can make it sticky, or you can make it an announcement. And what it does, so the urgent and announcement just gives it a slightly different icon on the forum list. But the sticky always means it appears at the top of the category. So it always appears at the top. So you've got that option as well. So it's quite handy that if there's a particular discussion going on that you want to sort of always keep at the top, you might want to do that. A few groups do that with like a welcome and introduction forum that comes into the group. So that's always at the top to try and encourage people to go there straight away. So you've got those features which no one else has within the group. Anything else? Again, so you've got the action button on here, so that's always going to be everywhere for you. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. I mean, you've got quite a bit of control on how you do that. Okay, Richard has asked, can categories be restricted to group facilitators only? No, we don't have that ability. If you're a member of the group, you are a member of the group, so you don't have that option on there. And Ian's asked about why don't you have a hide for the group description box, it takes a lot of space. I totally agree. We're actually trying to get some work done to reduce the size of that description box and move things up a lot, because I've been arguing with that bit as well. Because for me, you want to see the content, you want to see what's going on, you don't want to have a big description first and then see the content. So we are working on that to try and improve that sort of option within it. So that's your forums. They're quite flexible. You can do quite a bit on it, but these are going to be your main discussion area. It's going to be the main areas where people are going to participate as well. So use them nicely. Keep it really simple for people to participate. Best thing to do is make sure that you have really good questions. A lot of people really struggle with asking good questions. And Bruce has asked, what is the RSS bit? It's a thing called really simple syndication. Quite a few sites use it. What it allows you to do is not actually access the knowledge hub, but see what's going on. But it only works with authenticated RSS readers such as Sharp Reader and a few others, because it doesn't work with things like what was Google Reader or any of those sites. So it has to be like an authenticated one because it needs to go through a password protection element of it. So you can actually get it available as an app on your desktop, so you can see stuff that's happening without ever looking into the group. But again, not many people really use it. It's a function that the Knowledge Hub actually has, so it's there if you need to. But I can talk to you more about it at a later point. David's asked, does the view statistics on the forum post reflect the amount of time that it's been clicked on a number of members that have seen it? No, it doesn't do that. We don't have any tracking way for the number of people seeing. The only bit we can see is actually on this area. So for this one, you can see that this thread here has had one post and it's had 2 views. So a view is every time someone's clicked on that page or refreshed that page. So that's the only way that's tracked, and that way we don't have unique viewers on it. It's something that I would like to get as well, to see how many unique viewers have actually looked at that particular discussion area. So we're hoping to get a load of data done in the future, so that'll be available to everyone to get a view. And John's just asked about sticky. So I'll try and find one of these. So if I make this hello, this is let's go to this one, Fred. Let's go to Fred 1. Let's edit this one. Change the priority to sticky. So this means sticky is always going to be at the top, and publish it. So this, and what it does is that makes it sticky. So if I go back to the category, hoping that works. So now Thread 1, no matter what the last post is, will always appear at the top of my list. So this is really sort of say if you've got a particular discussion that you want people to look at. So it always appears there for you. So it just means it's always at the top. You can actually have as many sticky posts as you want on there, but I'll try and limit it to 1 or 2. I think that's it. Okay, so that's the forum function. So if there's any questions, please just ping them on there, and I'll try and answer as I go along. The next one is going to be a library. Again, as a facilitator, you've got quite a few options. You're the only one who can add folders to the group. So by clicking, well, before I go into it, there's actually 3 different views on the library. You've got this one here, which is the list view. You have a description view, and you have an icon view. So depending on what's your preference, you can switch between those. I actually prefer this view. The only reason is that it tells me the downloads and the create date as well. If you want to search, you've got a search function there. You can switch by recent and you can switch to mine. So if you do want to add a folder, click add. You've got the option to add a folder. You can add multiple documents, which I'll go into in a minute, or you can add a basic single document within that. So if you want to add a folder, again, you can just put a title in. You can write a description if you wish to, and you can click save. I do try and encourage people to do numbering on folders. The only reason is that sometimes the folder list is done like an alphabetical numerical order, so numbers always appear first, then the alphabet. So it means that the folders normally always appear first, depending on the filter that people have on it. So at the moment, my filter is done by create date. So it's nice and easy to create a folder. If I want to move something from just a normal list, I can click this button here, and I've now got an option called Actions, or I've got a little drop-down box there that does the same thing. And I can then move. So if I want to move a particular file into a folder, all I need to do is click Select, choose which folder I want to move it to. Let's go back one. There we go. And I can select Move to move that document into that folder. So again, as a facilitator, you've got quite a bit of control over how things get structured within the group as well, especially within a library. What else we got on here? So again, you've got the sort by option that anyone can see. And as a facilitator, again, you've got edit rights, move rights, delete rights, and you can also add subfolders if you wish to as well. So you're one of the few people that can do that. So you can edit anyone's document if you need to. Only they can edit it as well, or you can move things around or delete them. So it's entirely up to you. The other bit, again, you've got, just reading this to say, when you actually do look at a document, because this one's not going to work at the moment, but anything that's written as a PDF or an image, after a while, it will actually appear on the screen for you, so you can actually skim through it. So it gives you quite a few bits there. The other bit I haven't got on here, but if you do select Edit, let's try and find one now. So I'll go to Edit on here. Let's wait for this to scroll down. If you do have a newer version of a particular document, what you can do is you can overwrite the previous version. So you haven't got to upload it as a new one. So if I click Choose File, I can find a new file, hopefully the updated version of one of these. Click Edit in here, go and find it. I haven't got, let's go and put this one here. Still want description, so I can amend that, title and description. And if I click Publish, I'm hoping this will now work, because it's a PDF document. There we go. That's added it up. Now if I go back to that document that's uploaded, this is an overwritten version of the previous one, it tells me it's now version 1.1. And what it now gives me is different versions of this document. So if I want to look at the original version, I can click the button and I can view or download the previous version. There's a new function that we're hoping in the future will come about will allow you to compare it, but it's not going to be ready for a while. And Ian has asked, can you rename a folder easy to add a number at the start? Yep, if you want to come back to the library list. Again, you've got the little action button next to the folder. Click Edit. And again, you can amend the name and description as you see fit. So it's nice and simple. So library lets you play around with quite a few bits on it. Lets you create folders, lets you move stuff around. And again, the other function you've got within here is anyone can do the base document and multiple documents, but it can be quite handy if you've got quite a few documents you want to add up in one go. So I can just click Browse. Let's pick those ones, click Open, and slowly upload. When you do multiple documents, it means that it's taking the title of the document for each one, and then you can add a description against each one as well. And then you can just add tags and save. Okay, I've got two questions here. One from John. What was the delegate or member to the group C? On pretty much on the library, they'll see exactly the same as you. The only thing you won't see is the folder option within it. So they'll see only edit options. If it's their own document, they have the ability to edit it. Otherwise, they'll see exactly what I've just shown you on there. Richard has asked, do we have control over file type restrictions? We do across the whole platform. We have about, I think about 30 or 40 file types that's available to be used in the Knowledge Hub. And what I'll do is, it's the help and support section down here. There's actually an FAQ on what file types are actually available. If it's something that doesn't work and something that you need for your group, and we haven't got on this, let us know what it is and we can add it. Because I think we've added things like video files and different types of video files as well. So to the file type ones we can actually use. And Abby has asked, is there a limit of the number of documents you can upload at one time? I haven't seen that, but it's down to the size. You're allowed up to 113 megabytes in one go per document. Again, if you are going to upload multiple documents, just be careful, because I've seen so many groups do this where they open the group on day one, they upload all their content, everyone downloads it, and no one ever comes back again. So if you're going to upload content, make sure you do it the right type of content at the right time. Don't upload all your content in one go, because you pretty much your community or your group will be dead within a week or two, because no one will come back, because you've got nothing else to interest them to come back to the group again. So that's your library. So nice and simple to use. I think one of the new features we've got coming out in a couple of weeks' time, it actually will allow you to drag and drop into the library as well. So hoping that will be available soon as well. Blogs, again, as I mentioned earlier on, blogs are something that the facilitators control. So if someone writes a blog within their own individual area, it matches the criteria that the facilitator set, it will then appear in this section here. And that's all it really does, is it shows you all the blogs that have been allocated to that group. Again, this will also trigger a notification into your activity stream, letting people know that a new blog has been posted to the group, and that then triggers off an email notification to people either on immediate, daily or weekly, depending on what their setup is as well. So really simple. You can get loads of blogs put in now. Unfortunately, we can't bring in blogs from outside the system at the moment, but maybe that's something for the future we will look at. But at the moment, anything within the system can be imported into your group. So that's a nice simple one. Again, you've got the search option within it as well. Events. Any member can add an event, but again, as a facilitator, you have the option to edit anyone's events as well, just in case they think it's not quite right. So if you click quick look on here, it gives you the option to edit, and also you have the ability to delete. So as a member, you can upload a new event and you can edit and delete your own event. As a facilitator, you can upload, you can edit and delete anyone's event. So if you do need to edit anyone's event, you select the edit button and you just pop in, you can amend any details within that area. Something I probably should have mentioned earlier on is that whenever you have the option to delete, it will always prompt you to confirm that, so it just doesn't delete straight away. And I think we've got something coming up in the future where if someone does delete something from the system, it will go into a recycling bin, and that will be held for 30 days. So we can actually recover some of the content if you do delete it by mistake. So that's something that we're going to hopefully have in our next release. So events are really simple. Again, the other bit you've got in here, so you've got your public restricted options within it. So, and again, you can add in details for the venue, which will then start creating a Google map as well. And then you've got some suggested events. This is something that's suggested to you based on your profile as well. So different people will have different suggested events. Next sort of big function is your wiki. So what you can do, best place to start is your pages. Anyone can create a wiki, anyone can edit a wiki. So that's the whole point of the wikis, is that anyone, it's pretty much like an editable web document. So you can just click on one to view what's going on. So this is just, I got bored of Laura and Ipsum, so I found one called Bacon and Ipsum, which is a bit scary really. And I think Dimple found one around sort of different pastries and cakes which you can use. So again, anyone can comment on this. So you've got the comment section, which most people already know. You've got a vote section on it. The only difference for a facilitator is that anyone can edit, but you're the only guys that can delete wikis. But anyone can edit the wiki and view it that way. And they also have additional buttons. So you've got details button. As a facilitator, you've got the option to delete, move, or copy. Anyone can view the history, which is quite useful. So you can view that, and you've also got a revert button as well. And also, if you want to, you can actually compare different versions of the wiki page. So you use tick boxes to compare. And then it will highlight the changes. So anything in green is new compared to the original version. So that's quite a useful little thing. And also you've got incoming links, outgoing links. So anything that you put links into different places, it just highlights where they are. And also if you've had any attachments to the wiki, it's in there. So the wiki is pretty much as it is for a member. Just that the only difference is that you've got the option to delete during the wiki functionality. Next major function is your ideas. Again, depends on your group and how mature you are, depends on what sort of functions you want to use. This has been used in quite a few different ways at the moment. So for the group I look after, we use it to help plan our actions throughout the year, what types of activities and events we want to do. Some have done it by using it for consultation. And again, as a facilitator, that you do have the edit and delete option for all the content within that. This might be quite handy, say, if an idea has progressed quite well. So if it's gotten to maybe a second stage instead of just being in progress, it may have been completed. You may have decided that that type of idea doesn't need to be redone, so you can reject it or you can withdraw it. So again, as a facilitator, you've got the ability to change the status on this. You can change the tags, you can amend the description, and you can amend the title. You have control over all those elements as a facilitator. And again, if you want to add a new one, it's very similar format to all the other stuff you've seen. So you've got your idea, your description, your tags. So it's nice and easy, and also you can add attachments into it as well. Then click Save. So nice and easy to use. Can be really powerful little function once you're ready for it. And so if you need some help or you want some ideas on how the best way to use it, please let us know. We'll suggest different people that have done it in different ways, and even maybe get you in touch with them to have a little chat about it, about what worked and what didn't work for them. And the last bit is your members list. So again, you can search for people. Any member can actually invite someone to a group for restricted groups and also to open groups. But again, for restricted, still need to go through the approval process as it were before. The other bit you've got on here is that you've got the option to connect and follow people. If you connect with someone, that means that any activity that they've done that you have permission to see will appear in your main home page on your activity stream. If you follow them, it does exactly the same thing as well. The only difference when you connect to someone, and I haven't got anyone online at the moment who's connected to me, is that you can then instant chat with them. So if they're online and you're connected with them, they appear in the online connections list, and you can actually have a quick chat with them as well. So it's quite a useful little function if you need to sort of quick message each other in that way. If not, what you can do on here, a quick look gives you a bit more detail about the person. You can click this to go to the main profile, or here you can send somebody a direct message. You can see the last login date to the platform, and also you can see the types of activity that they've been up to, depending on the permissions that you have to view that type of content. So this is only shows the stuff that I can actually view. So that's quite useful. So it's all about permissions on here. And then as your group starts getting bigger, you've got your A to Z list on here, and then also you've got we'll do like a little drop down once you've got a larger membership base as well. So that's pretty much all your main functions within it. So, and that's a bit of a sort of quick whiz through. But so if you've got any questions, I mean, just give me an email, or if you've got anything you want to add on here, please do that. And last little bit is just something that for people who are probably not always aware of. We do have a help and support section down the bottom left-hand corner. And this pretty much tells you everything you need to know about the Knowledge Hub, about what it is, how it gets started, your profile, home, how the groups get set up and the types of elements within the group. But I've also got a whole section called Facilitation. And we've broken it down into 3 areas, so group administration, group moderation, group management, and it's pretty much a whole range of FAQs on how to do everything on as a facilitator on the Knowledge Hub. So how do I edit and delete polls, click on that, and it will take you to the main section. So if you can't find the answer here, please get in touch with us and we'll try and help you out. But it's really useful there just in case you need a little refresher or reminder of anything that's going on there. So have you got any more questions? Have anyone got anything else they want to talk about or ask? Okay. We'll go back to the last little bit, so take some little slides. So just in case, let's move to the next bit. We do run other types of webinars that we're starting to sort of roll out at the moment. So I've actually got one this afternoon around re-engaging inactive members, but we've got 5 going to run out throughout the year. One's around measuring the health of your group, understanding if it's really the best way to do it. Actually, Trevor's asked a very good question. The best way to promote your group? Okay, depends on what type of group you've got. If it's restricted or open, there's a few different options. And I think one of the things we're going to do is around recruiting new members, and that's actually around promotion as well. Best thing to do when you want to promote your group, write a blog about it, but tell people what is happening in the group. Don't tell people about what the description is. So really, if you can start telling people that some of the really good things that are happening, types of activities in there, really useful way of doing it. You can do it, say, via blog on the Knowledge Hub. We can actually put you as a featured group if that's something that you would like us to do. We can do that for you. We can also, if we've got anything really interesting going on, we can push it out via Twitter for you. Again, you may want to do the same sort of thing. So really, it depends on who you're trying to attract to your group and the type of audience you want to attract and where they are. So if you know that, then we can sort of sit down with you and suggest different ways that you might want to promote your group to a wider audience. So that's a really good, really simple way of doing it. So again, find out who you're trying to attract, how many people you want to attract, and then we can go through that. And sort of last off, so that's some of the webinars we've got coming up in the future. And also we started to put down a few sort of like help guides that are, again, all available via the online facilitation community. I've got the next one going to be released soon. So we've got a cookbook, which most of you probably would have got when you first started. There's also like a little guide on how to manage your group on 30 minutes a day. This is something to some ideas of things you can do to keep things ticking over. And I know 30 minutes sounds quite a bit of time, but if there's 3 of you doing the group, which is something we also recommend, it's 10 minutes. It's the equivalent of making a cup of tea. Well, I'll make a cup of tea anyway. So yeah, so John has asked how do we get these types of things. So the Facilitators Cookbook and the Managing Your Group in 30 minutes a day are actually available in the Facilitators community. So if you're not a member, come and join that. You can download it via that. If not, I can send it out to you. And so we're hoping we're going to release another one called Increasing Member Participation probably next month. And I've got a playbook and a health check option coming up as well. So there's like just little guides and ideas of things you might want to try out to try and sort of like keep the group stimulated, keep it ticking over. Because I've done some research around the Knowledge Hub and compared this against a lot of other different types of community platforms. And we're actually quite good about actually keeping groups ticking over. Most groups out on the web, they normally, 95% of all groups in the first year fail. But we do actually, but most of our groups, or about 60 to 75% of our groups do last more than a year, which is actually quite good. Okay, John, yeah, I'll send that on to you. Okay, so thanks for listening, everyone. Any questions you've got or something that I may have missed, please just let me know, and I can talk to you about it. Or if you want something a bit more detailed, please do. I think there might be a little survey that comes out once I shut this down. So just let us know what you think about it, if you found it useful. And again, myself and Dimple are around to help anyone. Any questions you got, please let us know, and we'll try and help out as much as we can. So thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you all soon.